green light out of the pit lane, as I will just finish setting up the stream for you lovely people. So right now when you're listening back to this, you hear stuff that the others would not have heard, so count yourself lucky. So let's just quickly upload the thumbnail and then we should be good to go. Sorry I came in a little bit late. Had some last minute stuff that I had to do. So we are at round number 5 out of 8, officially past the halfway point of the season. Of course, in case you missed us last week, there was the off-season event, or mid-season event I should say. And I participated actually in that one, so that was the reason why there was no live stream. So I hope you are all ready for this race tonight, as we are in the lovely United Kingdom, around the infamous Oulton Park race circuit. Circuit which has 17 corners going in a clockwise direction, and a very technical and very bumpy and very narrow circuit, as we see Paris completing their first flying lap. They will come across the line. It was a 1:34.7, but it was invalidated somewhere around the lap. As we ride on board, going through turn number 1, carrying a lot of speed down the hill into the bumpy turn 2. Be careful that you don't brake right on the bump. That will lock up the tires and will send you in a less favorable direction. Now we go on to turn 3. You might be able to take it flat, but with some cars you can, some cars you cannot. Then into the hairpin, get on the power through on the exit, and then you have the first chicane. Go over the curb on the apex, and then straight it out on the exit. And then we have the second chicane coming right up, almost a bit like Le Mans, but then first going left, then going right. Almost in too deep from Paris. Actually, it was a little bit too deep. Had to hold back on the exit of the corner. Now through the final sector we go. Really only 2 corners left to go. The first one is this one, with the final corner coming right up. Difficult, more than 90-degree corner, but including a downhill traction zone, which will become difficult for some people, as we have a server reset. so bear with. That will be quickly resorted. Should not be a big issue there. So, yeah, we have ran 4 races now, and after those 4 races, or well, first, let's quickly see the stewards' decisions from Kyalami. Most notably, it is that Hochhausen has been given a race ban for accumulating too many license points. They will serve it this race. Other than that, not really anything worth mentioning. Gonalons will have a qualifying ban, so they will stay in the pit lane. In terms of overall standings, if I can quickly find that, there we go. Standings overall, we have Gertz in the lead, followed by Morrow, followed very closely by Lojack, by only 4 points between the two on 349 and 345 points respectively, as the server is back up.
Green light, go, go, go.
It's a green light at the end of the pit lane. Of course, just a quick free practice, then we get straight back into the qualifier. Further down in the standings, we have Taylor and Wedderson occupying P4 and 5. Wedderson actually tied on points with Cabras, both on 309 points, with Falcinelli in 7th place, only 3 points behind. Also tied with Fitterer on 306 points. Then 3 more points behind, it's Martinelli with 6 more points behind the pair of BX, Royal and Paul, both on 297 points, as this is very busy at the end of the pit lane. Oh my goodness me, that's not something you would see usually, but this is a simulation, so it can. Maybe we do live in a simulation after all. This is a simulation in a simulation. Have you ever thought about that? Gives you something to think about tonight. So in the midfield, in the standings, or higher midfield I should say, it is very close together between drivers, like literal points, not even point times between the drivers. So just quickly, top 3 in each class. In gold it is Gertz, Morrow and then Lojack, with silver class being led by Popov, then Warrior, then Turney. Popov, the car we are having on screen right now. So Popov, then Warrior, then Turney, P1 to 3 in silver class. Then we have bronze class with Fitzpatrick, O'Leary and Caraballo. Fitzpatrick right here in the bright pink McLaren as ever. And everybody is trying to lift off a little bit, trying to create a gap to the cars ahead. Was a little yellow flag from Popov, who has parked it on the grass, interestingly. And we'll now have to wait for, or not wait for anyone to get past, as they return to the pit lane. So, Gonalons will serve the qualifying ban. They will stay in the pit lane for the remaining 18 minutes. As we have a new face on the grid as well. Pane Blanco. No, Pane Bianco, sorry, that's an I, not an L. I believe they joined pretty much, or pretty much, very late on. But it doesn't matter, they are here and they will enjoy the fun. Pane Bianco is it indeed, yes. So they have been put as a reserve. You will see it is a bronze driver, but they are competing, or not really competing actually. They are in the reserve class where they have missed more than 3 races, which because we are past the halfway point of the season, so they have missed 4 races. Other than that, no further people driving that I haven't heard about yet. So it will be interesting to see where Pane Bianco can end up. I should actually quickly take a look. Yeah, they are Italian, so I am pronouncing it with the accent because the Italians love that. Please don't hurt me. I can hurt them though. I like pineapple on pizza. Yeah, I know people will get triggered about that, but I like it. Nothing you can do about that. Currently, Pane Bianco has gotten the 2nd quickest time so far, with a 1 minute 34.0, just behind the car directly ahead of them, that Porsche over there, who goes in a bit deep, being driven by Taylor. As Fitzpatrick's there, gets out of the way. Pane Bianco up by nearly 2/10 as they head into the 3rd sector. Arguably most time can be gained in the 2nd sector. But don't count the 3rd sector out as well. Losing a little bit of time in the penultimate corner. Or real penultimate corner. As there is a slight kink here. Do gain a lot through the final corner. 2.5 tenths up to the line. And they will stay in P2 for the time being. Setting a new personal best of a 33.8. It also means with the newcomer that O'Leary is no longer alone in the Mercedes AMG. Having a fellow competitor share that car. Moro now 6 tenths up in the 1st sector alone. Now in the 2nd sector, going quicker, 7 tenths up now. I was already wondering why they were down in P5. I would expect them to be in the top 3 quite comfortably. But 8 tenths up right now. I'm hoping that the delta isn't lying to us. Because if it is, that would be a very nasty surprise. Losing a little bit of time through that 2nd chicane, but gaining it back slightly on the way out of the chicane. Does have Druid in front of them as they spin out, and unfortunately Moro not able to avoid and hitting the McLaren of Druid head on. That will hurt, I think. The same now with Gertz, 1.8 seconds up nearly as they head into the final sector. They do have Caesar in front of them, They do not have to get out of the way, but it might become a little bit of a distraction in that final corner for Gert in the Mustang. Takes it nicely, and Caesar actually lets them past. Coming up to the line, 1.6 second improvement, goes from 8th to 1st with a 1 minute 33.2, putting them provisionally on pole position. Martinelli being very close behind Azoyan. Will benefit from some slipstream, but I don't think it will be of any use throughout the whole lap. There's another yellow flag for O'Leary, who pulled off at the side of the road on the exit right here. Oh, not really pulled off, they have spun out. Either way, they are off the circuit and are now rejoining and trying to set a new lap time. Valcinelli with an improvement on their personal best lap time, but it was invalidated somewhere around the lap, so it will not count towards the overall standings. It was a 33.8, which might have put them up a position ahead of Cabras, who's behind them currently right now on circuit. Battle between the two Porsches, both coincidentally yellow Porsches. I'm not sure if that's meant to be the case or if that's just plain coincidence. So far gap is staying relatively the same between Valcinelli and Cabras. Staying still at 1.7 seconds. But Valcinelli isn't really improving. Although I say that, and they suddenly find nearly 2/10 in one corner alone. Can they find another 2/10 in this final corner? The exit out, they do find half a tenth. Coming up to the line, it is an improvement, and up to 4th, displacing Cabras, but Cabras immediately taking that place back. So still 5th place for Valcinelli. As we take a quick look, as Panebianco actually has gotten the quickest lap time as they get bumped in the pit lane. Then it is good, 1.6 tenths behind, with Taylor in P3, 3.5 tenths back from pole position. Good in the pit lane as well. We are halfway through the session as more people are improving. Still we're yet to see a lap time from Fitzpatrick, BX Royal, Druid, and of course Gonalons, but they are not allowed to go out of the pit lane. Let's see, can BX Royal set a lap time together? They come across the line and go up to P10 with a 1 minute 34.1. Now still Fitzpatrick and Druid left to set a lap time. But interestingly from Panebianco, how they have managed to get such a quick lap time in. Also in the AMG, which is usually not really a quick car, has to be said. This is not picked often. Another one car who isn't picked often is the Nissan GTR, although like I said before, I do quite like the car, at least aesthetically. Still, R34 is better. But yeah, we don't have that one in a GT3 configuration. Would also be a bit old with all the systems. And like, yeah, just would be a hell of a lot to make that happen. Gert's getting out of the way from Paul. I'm not sure if Paul had any hinder of that. And what I do know is that Paul is up by nearly 9/10 of a second, nearly a full second now into sector 3. Oh, but going in deep into the penultimate corner, half spinning it on the grass. And that's a shame, they will have to go out for another lap. Fitzpatrick has managed to set a lap time of a 1:35.500, putting them at P27 as it stands right now. Camera work is absolutely splendid around that corner. I don't know what the camera operators are smoking. I do like what they do, but sometimes it's like, man, come on. You have one job. Why can't you do set job? Actually, I've now realized we are missing a Mustang. Well, of course we're missing Hochhausen because they are serving a race ban. But we're also missing a LoJack. That's interesting. I didn't know that they were not going to race tonight. Also Weatherston actually, Fitzner as well. Scanlon as well. So a lot of goal drivers, actually only goal drivers, have pulled out of this one, withdrawn. So for the overall standings, this is a great opportunity for the silver and bronze class drivers to get some points on their competitors, because the overall classification doesn't look at the class separation, but just general standing at the end of the race. Just over 5 minutes left to go in this session. As we see that Azoyan is up by nearly 0.2 of a second into the final sector. 2 real corners left to go. There's a white flag out for a slower car that has been withdrawn now. Through the final corner they go, heavy on the brakes, turning it in nicely, powering it out on the exit. 0.2 nearly as they come across the line, and it will be an improvement and also an improvement of position, putting them ahead in P21 with a 1:36.4. BX Royal on another flying lap, currently equal to their best lap, bouncing over the curbs, going very wide in the second chicane, but then gaining a lot of time back out on the exit. So if they can hook it up nicely, they will surely gain over 0.2 there through that second chicane. Another 10th nearly gained through the penultimate corner. Will this become an improvement for them? Powering it out of the exit, and it will be just shy of 0.1 of an improvement. It does make for a new personal best lap time. Let's see any others out on quick laps. Taylor currently on pole position with a 1 minute 32.9. A very quick lap from the Porsche driver. Going first to go sub 1 minute and 33 seconds. They will have 2 more flying laps, including the one that they are starting right now. So let's drive on board with the provisional pole position driver as they invalidate out of turn number 1. So whatever lap time they post, it will not count. Paul going very aggressive over the curbs, losing a tenth of a second on the exit, but they can manage to gain that back throughout the remainder of the lap. And see that Druid is cutting the second chicane. Does give the space for Paul to get past. And right now they have gained back that tenth of a second, just over it actually. So it's all to play for now in the final sector. Losing half a stand, but gaining it back on the exit. Through the final corner they go. It's a bit wide from the apex, but carrying the speed nicely. It will be a 1/10 improvement coming across the line, and it will also improve their position by 1, putting them up into P11. Last laps for the drivers currently out on track. As Turney has got a lot of pace in them. 7/10 up, but it was an invalid lap, and this lap will also become invalid. That's a shame. They had the pace to get higher than that, but unfortunately didn't manage to make that happen. Caraballo now in the final corner, powering it out. It will be also just shy of a tenth of an improvement. Will not improve their position, unfortunately. Through it on their final lap. Ooh, going a bit too hot in the first chicane, losing a couple of tenths there as they had to slow down to make it through the next corner. Through the second chicane, up by over half a tenth. Now 2.5 tenths up, nearing 3 tenths. One final braking zone left to go. Turning it in nicely, getting on the power. 4 tenths improvement almost coming across the line. It was P24, it will stay P24 unfortunately for them. Last cars out on track. I think Paris is the only one currently who is on a timed lap. Maybe Dundies is actually also on a lap time. Or timed lap. Wow, that was a crazy one. Final corner there for Paris. Getting a better run through the mid corner will be half-tenth improvement coming across the line. It won't count for anything really, but it is Taylor who claims pole position for round number 5 alongside Panabianco, who puts it in, I must say, a surprising P2 ahead of Moro, Gertz, Paris, Freivogel, Cabras, Falcinelli, Popov and Martinelli, making up the top 10. And this Paul, BX Royal, Asen, Warrior, Caesar, Fitzpatrick, Caraballo, Iliscu, Azoyan and Dundies making up the top 20. With the remaining drive being Turney, O'Leary, Black, Druid, Jordanov and Gonalons. 2 minute waiting time for the start of the formation lap. Grab some snacks, drinks if you want. I'm gonna quickly have a snack. So what can Taylor do from the front row of the grid? Currently in gold class they are P4, 11 points behind Lojek, who is missing this round. So they
30 seconds.
are very in a very nice position. Moro and Gertz are in this race. Moro being 15 points ahead, and Gertz being quite a long way ahead with 40-point lead over Taylor in P4 in the standings. It's a nice line of cars who have lined up on the grid, and the green flag will go to signal the start of the formation lap. So 1 hour of race. Good evening, Druid. Good luck with the race. Only way is forward. Just try to keep it on the circuit as best as you can and you will gain positions. As we already saw during the qualifier. Lots of people going off, missing braking points, getting onto the grass. Especially the first lap will become very hectic very quickly. Especially in the hairpin where we are right now. Be careful on the right hand side where there are tire barriers to meet you if you go wide at the third corner. It will be mostly single file, I think, for the whole race. Unless someone has a real good overspeed, then it will become too wide. But then that overtake needs to be done nicely. Actually, something I noticed, top 4 are in all different cars. I don't think we've had that all season long. Where there was a Porsche, an AMG, of course, there was only one AMG before, but a Porsche, a Lamborghini, an AMG and a Ford occupying the first 2 rows on the grid. As the cars are now weaving, trying to get as much heat into the tires as possible. Grip will be king around here, as the cars are now going to line up side by side. Taylor will have the inside line into turn number 1, which should be easily defendable, but who knows. Maybe we will see yet another surprise from Pane Bianco. Cars at the rear of the pack need to be careful with the accelerating out once the green flag flies. But we are looking right now at the front of the field as they creep towards the start-finish line. And it is green, 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 and away we go. The Porsche has a great acceleration power and keeps the lead into turn number 1. As further behind, it is still all clean by the looks of it. Bit slow, but that is what can be expected from lap number 1. At least turn 1 was clean. There is a yellow flag behind, which has been withdrawn already. I cannot see anyone being stopped on the mini-map. As we head through the fast left-hander. Oh, and there goes Paul off into the grass. Can they get it out of the barriers? Yes, they can. As there's also another yellow flag of who is that? Oh, and another. That's the circuit is blocked at the rear of the field. It was Popov who we saw at the barrier, and Azoyan and Paul and a lot of people are still right there at the hairpin, I should say. Not the start that they were looking for. As I think also there will be some major damage to a lot of those cars. We were now, the front of the field has gotten away nicely. I think half the field has had no incident up until this point. But it will definitely be worth looking at this lap 1 at some point in the replay. Morrow getting a lot on the AMG up ahead, but also needs to be careful that the Ford behind doesn't attack the Lamborghini. Oh, and there's a touch. There is a touch between the Lamborghini. Oh, and a bigger touch. A massive hit from the rear received by Morrow, given by who was that? Paris. As Morrow gets back on the circuit right now, but that will be some major damage to the rear of their car. And also will be a loss of some downforce. As up ahead we have another yellow flag, which is for Freivogel. Freivogel there creeping between the barriers. And now having to wait for all the cars to get past. And they can finally venture back out onto the circuit. Oh, but they've spun immediately trying to do that and have returned to the pit lane as well. A very chaotic lap 1 and 2. As we have Iliescu, Popov and Gonalons, as well as Freivogel, all in the pit lane. As this now means that functionally is now up 2 places to P4, as well as a lot of cars behind them. Gabros having some damage to the front of their car, having made contact somewhere around the circuit. As Taylor leads and is trying to create a gap to the cars behind. Top 3 already extending away. Also Taylor last lap with the fastest lap of the race so far, of a 1 minute 33.992. As we have another brief yellow flag for car 66, that would be Druid on the straight going on to turn 3. Not sure what they are precisely doing over there. Turney actually has had a great start after not nailing the lap in qualifying, starting P21, now all the way up to P10 in the Aston Martin. So a very good start from their side, keeping it clean, and that will reward you in the long run, or in a very short run I should say, as only 5 minutes have passed. Popov now back out of the pit lane, having completed the mandatory pit stop, and will now presumably stay out for the remainder of the race, trying to gain back some time, as we have a stop-go penalty for corner cutting for Druid, as I see them on the minimap cutting the second chicane also, and that gives them a stop-go 10, which is unusual to see. But it is unusual to get a stop-go penalty for corner cutting. Actually, the stop-go 30 now. No longer stop-go 10, but stop-go 30. Will they serve that this lap? By the looks of it, they will. Do not speed into the pit lane when you serve a penalty. That's just more salt in the wounds. Oh, and Morrow faking out Turney, pulling them off their ideal line and taking P10 away from Turney, who now also falls behind Fitzpatrick and Caesar. Bit of mind games being played there. Stop go has been cleared from Druid. As Martinelli is nearly getting lapped by Taylor. Only 3.5 seconds between the two of them. Freivogel also receiving blue flags. As I am not sure if they are going to let them pass. Technically speaking they should, but if they can pull away, that is no need. Oh, but they go wide as Popov is also in the grass there. A slight hit off into the barrier for Freivogel. And I think that's them done for the night as they retire the car. This is a very difficult circuit. Just keeping it on the circuit is already a big ask. BX Royal being slightly quicker than Falcinelli on that last lap. Ferrari against Porsche, trying to gain a position, getting closer to the podium. OS Eliscu has pulled off to the side of the road, seemingly with quite a lot of damage, letting Paul pass there, but staying out on the circuit, so presumably damage not being as bad, as Morrow and Druid are now in the pit lane. Interestingly, Morrow in the pit lane already. That's something I wasn't really expecting. Although on the other hand, if you look on the minimap on the left hand side of your screen, if they come out of the pit lane right now, they will have a lot of clear air in front of them. So no real worry about the yellow flags then. But I do need to get out of the pit lane right now. Oh, it's going to be close. I'm not sure that they will make it out right now, at least not before the leaders get past. Now they certainly will not. A full second. Good gained on Panebianco on that last lap. Also doing a personal best. At the same time, down to a 33.4. Now only 7/10 behind the Mercedes. And really putting on the pressure. But like I said before, this is no easy circuit to overtake on. As it is very narrow, very bumpy, very windy. Almost like the Nordschleife, but smaller. And not as wide, even though Nordschleife can be pretty narrow at times as well. Oh, only 2/10 in between the two drivers. Just making the MG driver aware that they are right behind them. Maybe even putting them slightly off into the final corner. Will there be a car alongside as they head into turn number 1? There will be, space is given. And so far the Mercedes driver stays ahead. As now down into turn 2 they go, still side by side. Very respectful racing between the two of them. Now coming up to the fast left-hander. Kurtz pulls out, knowing that you don't want to go side by side through there, being on the outside line especially. You are very vulnerable to going wide and into the barrier, as we've seen quite a couple of times already this race. But you can see how much time they lost through that first sector. 1.5 seconds down on their personal best lap time. And all the while Taylor is just running away further and further. Now 5 seconds ahead of the pair. And with even a lap car in between. Yellow flag behind. It is BX Royal who has spun round, hitting the curb and going a little bit further than they would have liked. Only losing out on one position though, but losing nearly 10 seconds from that ordeal. Also, always less than favorable. As there is now a move for second place. We just caught the end of it. Into the final braking zone. Kurtz getting ahead of the German rival in the Mercedes. Or actually it would be an Italian rival, but hey, car is German. Who cares? So Kurtz now has got some clear air to go after Taylor. As already some gaps are starting to form between drivers. And some are closing in, like Dundies is closing in on O'Leary. Mercedes, Ferrari and just behind a BMW. All three very different brands, all fighting for the same position of P14. Ooh, Ferrari going pretty wide into turn number 4, or turn 3 that would be. Falcinelli now as well got some clear air, lost BX Royal behind them. Now can just try to extend away as much as possible. Interestingly, nearly all Porsches are in the top 5 or top 10. I think Cabros is the lowest classified Porsche as of now. Let's quickly check. And that would be the case, yes. Taylor still with the fastest lap of the race of a 1 minute 33.317. As up ahead, Druid cuts the chicane. Trying to get in, or trying to stay out of the way of Taylor. And that's one way of doing it, for sure. 15 minutes have passed. And a lot has happened in these opening 9 laps. Fitzpatrick now chasing after Turney. 1 second is the gap right now. Do have Popov behind them, but they are a lap down, have completed their mandatory pit stop. Remember, you need to refuel only. It's a set time in the pit lane, so you cannot just take 1 liter and be out again. No, I believe it's 20 seconds. You have to spend in the pit lane 20-25 seconds. And they are steadily closing in. Not the best run out of the final corner. Losing a little bit of ground there compared to the Aston Martin. With Popov being a second quicker right behind them. Popov is allowed to unlap themselves, but they need to get away out of blue flags as soon as possible. And with a car being just a second up the road, another car, that will become very difficult. Oh, I say that, and Popov has gone off. There we go. Rejoining the circuit right now, so that will not be an issue anymore. As up ahead it is Caraballo, another McLaren, having difficulties spinning it out on the exit of the second chicane. Very easy mistake to do. They've gotten it going again, but losing a lot of time. You can see it in the top left of your screen. The delta 17 seconds in the red. Costing them a fair bit of time. Gonalons, after starting from last, having completed the mandatory pit stop and is up to P22. We'll probably get blue flags in a moment's time, with Dandy's just a second behind. There we go, blue flags are now being waved. Oh, as black behind goes in very deep into the final corner. Gets going again. And they resume their way as Iliscu is now in the pit lane. BX Royal has found their way back up the rear end of a Porsche, as there has been given a drive-through for Goods. Goods has received a drive-through. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Who was that Formula 1 driver again who said that? I don't know. Anyway, Goods already with a drive-through for track limits after only 20 minutes of racing. that's gotta sting, and they need to be careful not to get another one in the dying moments of the race, like they did at Misano. Sorry to remind you. But this, this will be some trouble for good. I don't believe the pit loss is actually that long with a drive-through. Could be worse around other places, for instance Spa. Of which we have the 100-minute final race of the season in 3 weeks' time. But yeah, still, it will be a dent in their progress. I'm wondering if they take it now, will they get out in some clear air? They might get out. But Kurtz is already calling it, slowing it down nicely. And going for the drive-through already. Awfully slow pace at 50 kilometers an hour. And there we go, out back on circuit. And ahead of Asen and BX Royal. So in a way, not costing that much time. And already the field is pretty mixed up with Drive versus Think. This battle for 4th place with Gus being just ahead will be the most interesting. Jordanov cuts the chicane to let 2 leaders go by. I was saying that of course this is battle for 4th place, but Kurtz will probably pull away from these 2. So then will become a battle for 5th place. And that is way more exciting. A clear 1v1 between a Ferrari and a Porsche. And you can just see the Ferrari getting closer and closer throughout the whole corner. Into the final corner. Will there be a ascent? Not quite. As that was Iliscu. I was confused there for a moment. Giving away to these 2. You can just see BX Royal being very aggressive and then being led past by Ace. Alright. Was no need to do that, as Iliscu has returned to the pit lane, getting the car towed there. Still Taylor 12 seconds away now from the next closest car, being Panebianco. Outstanding pace from the Porsche driver, doing very well at keeping it on the circuit. Caesar going off at the penultimate corner, returning back on the circuit right now. No one around them, so no harm in that. Oh, and Gonalons also going wide, doing better at keeping it out. Oh, and nearly a big crash between Popov and Gonalons. Oh, that was really scary, especially for Popov, being the car just behind. There we go. As Caesar is now in the pit lane, probably to serve their mandatory pit stop. Fitzpatrick also in the pit lane. This is one of those races where you don't know where people will be until 2 minutes left to go, or like 2 laps to go. Other than that, it will be very, very difficult. Gonalons is trying to extend away from Popov. Right now, gap is a second. Will grow steadily as O'Leary up ahead is being shown as a white flag. One AMG coming up to another. Oh, and that is big damage for O'Leary. Has had a pretty hefty hit into a barrier. As you can see there, that car is not supposed to look like that. With the front of the car being elevated. There we go. That's not what you would like to see. Panabianco just losing time to Taylor up ahead. 13.3 seconds is the gap right now. But then again, first race in second place. They are only a second ahead of Falcinelli in P3. With Gertz closing in behind them as well. As Moro and Paris are very close to each other, less than a second between the two of them. There was a lot less between the two of them. Actually, there was nothing in between the two of them when they made contact, which put them both at the position they are right now after the repairing of the damage. Paris there just outbraking themselves a little bit, cutting the chicane. Nothing major, didn't gain any time with it. So good to continue on. As O'Leary is making their way out of the pit lane again. As ASEAN is letting BX Royal past. BX Royal has gotten past Asian by looks of it. Asen also now quite far behind. Maybe a mistake was at play there. Dundee's giving way to the podium sitters. And Falcinelli is trying to take a P1 and 2 for Porsche right now. Of course, first thinking about themselves, then about the brand, and well, it is Porsche, so you have to give it to them. Paul is now exiting the pit lane, halfway distance or halfway through the race. Ooh, don't get onto the power that early. That will send you off into Narnia. Just as it will send you off into Narnia if you go out wide here. We have already seen people do that, and none of them have really survived it. Warrior in the pit lane, Azuyan also in the pit lane. As Dundee's is going slow. Has picked up the speed again. Was slow in the hairpin. Taylor staying out surprisingly. Although their pace is good. No need to really... Oh, never mind. I was mistaken by corner. I thought they were going through the first corner right there, but they were going through the last one. So, they are now in the pit lane and being served. Panabianco also coming into the pit lane, stopping it nicely on the mark. So does Falcinelli. Falcinelli had a quite slightly quicker pit entry by the looks of it. Yes, that is Asen, who is recovering right now after having a little spin. What is Cabras going to do? Cabras is staying out. Overtaking Taylor. And claiming P2 currently on the road, as P1 belongs to Gertz. Asen now also in the pit lane as the other Porsches are leaving. And did I see that correctly? Has Falcinelli done a quicker pit stop than Panabianco? And it looks to be the case. And this could be massive for Falcinelli. Getting a quite good overcut, undercut, a cut on Panabianco. Gaining, I think, over 2 seconds in that pit stop sequence. And thus they are rewarded with a position gained. Asen now also making their way out of the pit lane as Gert is now into the pit lane to serve their mandatory pit stop. That would mean that Cabras will momentarily take over the lead if they stay out, and otherwise it will return back to Taylor. And they are going into the pit lane. Nice and tidy, getting it slowed. Finding their pit box. As they are stopping, Kurtz gets going. And they will come out just behind Panabianco. So a P2 could be on the table here for good, as they also have gotten the fastest lap right now with a 1:33.232, a tenth quicker than the fastest lap from Taylor. Some people still yet to make a pit stop, like Turney or Dundies. After that we will probably know the real running order, although still it is very close to determine that, as people are in different places that they should be, both higher and lower. Oh, it's behind O'Leary, getting it all wrong into the gravel trap. Keeps it out of the barrier though, and will continue on their way. As Dundee stays out for another lap. Does have Falcinelli just behind them, who would not like to be held up. Cabras does seem to run quite a lot of damage there to the front of their car. Doesn't seem to impact their pace all that much, as they are chasing down the other Porsche, the green Porsche just ahead of Warrior. With 24 minutes left to run in this race, Turney still hasn't bitten yet, which surprises me. But maybe they are staying out to maybe calculate for something that might happen in the next 10 minutes or something. I'm not sure if that's going to be realistic. On the other hand, driving as light as possible can do the trick. So if we take a quick look, currently it is Taylor who leads from Falcinelli by 14 seconds. Then this Gertz, then this Panebianco on debut in P4. Then this BX Royal in P5, as Paul gets a drive-through penalty for track limits. Quickly get back, Turney in P6 currently, but needs to make a pit stop, which will drop him a little bit further down the field. Then this Warrior just ahead of Cabras. Paul with the drive-through penalty will also cost him a position or two. Then this Asen Morrow in P11, recovering from the big incident with Paris just behind. Then Martinelli being closely followed by Black, but they aren't on the same lap. It is Caraballo who is behind them position wise. Then Dundies in P15, but also yet to make their mandatory pit stop. Then Fitzpatrick, Gonalons, Popov, Adrian, Black now serving the pit stop, being served a pit stop, I'm not sure. Then there's O'Leary, Jordanov, Druid and Iliscu making up the rear of the field. We have lost some people. I know we have lost Freivogel. Who else did we lose? I'm not so sure about that. We have lost at least one other person. Yeah, I think we have lost two. Would be Freivogel and... no clue. we would just press on, continue on with the racing, as it is very close between Bianco and Gr3. As Caraballo gets out of the way and can watch from behind to this awesome battle that's going to start in just a couple of corners time. Oh, but you can see how many corrections Bianco needs to do to keep control of that Mercedes. Being stuck behind someone so close is not at all annoying. Of course, Gr3 passing Bianco on last lap does lead me to believe that that's the reason why Bianco was so close to the back of that Mustang. All the while Facinelli has gotten a little bit more breathing room. Gap now to 2 seconds. Will this battle rage on for the remaining 18 minutes? For your blood pressure, I surely hope not. I think I know who the other driver is who has retired. That would be Caesar. Caesar has also retired the car, which leaves us with 24 cars still running out on circuit. Some of them closer to others. As Facinelli is also starting to drop into this battle, which would make it a three-way battle for P2. They are quite a long shot away from P5 behind. Ooh, but a bit of a mistake from Bianco, and that will cost them quite a lot of time, over a full second. As there is a car spun around, would be Iliscu, and another yellow flag in the second chicane belonging to Warrior, actually, who was in P8. There we go. Is still in P8, but now oh, actually they were in P6 then. I think I read the number wrong. I think it was BX Royal then. Either way, this is also an interesting fight. P6, 7 and 8 being 1 second apart. Of course, Turney still needing to do their mandatory pit stop. When are they going to commit? Oh, as that is a spinner there for Jordanov. Carros having their wits about them, avoiding that spinning BMW. Turney still staying out for the time being. as Martinelli is also causing a yellow flag momentarily. They have gotten going again, but out of the chicane, as Jordanov is still trying to recover. Suddenly, tide has shifted. Now it's only 4 tenths between Falcinelli and Guts. Guts going a 32.9 on that last lap. A very quick lap time. As there's a yellow flag ahead from Black, who's trying to recover back onto the circuit. Guts getting held up there. Suddenly the gap has gone up to 2 seconds. And Panabianco has gotten past. Actually, Panabianco has gotten past. That's the gap of 2 seconds. Then it's another 2 seconds to Falcinelli up ahead. I think indeed I did see Guts running a bit wide out of turn 2. Maybe they were distracted by the BMW. Ooh, now also outbraking themselves into the chicane. Need to slow down to not gain any time from it. I think they did that alright. As they now also get passed through it. As Turney has finally decided to come into the pit lane to serve their car, and that would mean that they are the last one to pit, as they are now exiting. So with 13 minutes remaining, it is Taylor who is cruising to victory as it stands right now, with Falcinelli being 14-15 seconds behind. Then it is Panabianco and Guts following very closely, with BX Royal quite a lot further behind. Then we have Cabras Warrior is closing in on Cabras. Now only 2 seconds is the gap. Asen also behind in the Porsche, also with a gap of just above 2 seconds now. Then Paul Morrow, who is closing in on Paul as well. Of course, Paul has served that drive-through already. That's why they are a bit further down than they probably should be. Then also Popov and Fitzpatrick being very close to one another. Only half a second in between the two of them. Fitzpatrick going deep into the hairpin. That is going to give Popov the room to sail on by and take P16 away from Fitzpatrick. A bit of an on-first error there, but it sees one McLaren overtake the other, and Popov now up to P16. Other than that, I think the battle we should be looking at is the battle for P2 there, with the Porsche of Falcinelli, who has now lapped Martinelli, so maybe Martinelli will hold up Panabianco a little bit. That will just help Falcinelli. Of course, intentionally holding up someone when your blue flag isn't allowed, but it will happen, especially around a circuit like this. As Martinelli now pulls off to the side and lets Panabianco go. Warrior half second quicker on that last lap compared to Cabras. Asian not too far off either. Taylor, yeah, what can I say about Taylor? Taylor's just cruising. Lights to flag, never looked back. And they are just cruising their way to victory. Nearly 15 seconds advantage they have over the next car. I think everybody is finding pace right now, also keeping it cleaner. Haven't seen any yellow flags right now, but this would be the prime opportunity for commentator's curse. Let's show it. Where is the yellow flag going to be around the circuit? No, no one. Alright, that's a shame. I would have liked to see a yellow flag right there. I mean, I have dealt out commentators' curses quite a lot over the last while. Would be fun to see another one appear out of nowhere. Like this one, Panabianco and Falcinelli being very close behind one another. Panabianco having a lot of speed all of a sudden. Unfortunately, having a little bit of a rough last lap. Good, still further 2 seconds away. Ooh, that was really close between Panabianco and the wall. Really bouncing over the curbs at probably the highest speed around the circuit. Now only being 2/10 behind, only just a mere car length behind the Porsche. Can unfortunately defend for the next 8 minutes. It remains to be seen, but it would be one hell of a job to do that. 3/10 the gap is. And good will creep ever so much closer. And maybe at some point Panabianco needs to turn attack into defense. As quite honestly, I would rather have P3 than risk losing the fight to P2 and become 4th. Especially when you're close or following the car up ahead so closely. Again through the high-speed left-hander, so close on the edge of getting onto the grass and potentially spinning out. Half-hearted look there from the AMG. Trying to attack right now, whilst the Mustang behind isn't that close. Four more laps to go once they cross the finish line. 6 minutes to decide who will get P2, who will get P3. Where has Gertz gone? Gertz has suddenly dropped back 4 seconds. Interestingly. Oh, that is wide from Falcinelli. No real opportunity to send one down the inside at turn 2. They need to be careful not to get a track limits warning at these final stages of the race. As that will give some flashbacks to Gertz, like I already said early on in the live stream. Getting a drive-through with in the dying moments of the race is no nice thing. Still gap at 2 tenths, only a couple of car lengths between P2 and P3. I mean, we can all safely say that Panebianco has done a very excellent job of putting themselves on the map. Bit of a slide there from Falcinelli. Tires dying off on that Porsche. And it will become oh so close between these two, I think. As car 199 has received a drive-through penalty, and that would be Fitzpatrick. Let's quickly see. And that would be a second place probably. Well, no, they are quite a long shot away from Azoyan. Actually, they will keep second place in silver class. Let's quickly go over the leader. So it is Taylor in P1 with 2 laps to go. Then this Falcinelli, then this Gertz, making up the top 3 for gold class. Of course, Panebianco is there in P3, but is not competing for gold class. Then this Warrior just ahead of Asen, battling it out for the victory in silver class, with Turney becoming 3rd as it stands right now. Caraballo will almost certainly take victory in bronze class, ahead of Fitzpatrick, who is ahead of Azoyan. Now let's quickly return back to the action between P2 and P3. Of course, I would also like to follow the action between the silver class leaders, but we cannot watch 2 things at the same time, at least not right now with the current setup. Iliscu is just ahead of them, so is Fitzpatrick. Both of them will be receiving blue flags right now. So I hope for these two that they will get out of the way very quickly. Bit hesitant there from the Ferrari, and they pull back into the racing line, costing Panebianco a little bit of time. But does get nicer past Fitzpatrick, so it is nearly equal. Did lose a little bit of time there. One more lap to go. Once they cross the start finish line, it is still all to play for.
Okay, leaders on the final lap now. Give it all you can.
You can hear it. Leaders on the final lap. As Asen, where has Asen gone? Asen has made a mistake and gone presumably into the barrier, and I think their steering might be a little bit bent. I think their steering is very heavily bent, and that's a big shame for them on the last lap. As they return to the pit lane, or have they retired altogether? I am not sure. They have retired altogether on the last lap of the race. It is Taylor just cruising it down towards the victory lane. Has lost quite a lot of time actually over the last lap, posting a 1:43.3 for some reason. Still, no one is perfect, even they can make a mistake. But more importantly, they have kept the lead. And with one more corner left to go, it's safe to say it's a pretty dominant victory from the Porsche driver, who will come across the line and they will claim victory in round number 5. It is Taylor who wins it ahead of Falcinelli, who will just stay ahead of the AMG, who makes their debut with Panebianco. A very excellent P3 for them, very deserved podium. Then this Gertz, who comes across the line in P4. And then it is BX Royal, a little bit back. But I think they can be pleased with a P5 finish. Then is Cabras, who will finish in P6. Ahead of Warrior. There we go. Whole string of car there. As Warrior will win in silver class as well. And I think they are very pleased with that. Caraballo behind has also finished, and they have taken victory in the bronze class. Morrow finishing in P8, that would be. And now things will become messy with the timetable, so excuse me for that. Paul will finish in P10 by the looks of it. As says that we are still waiting on someone to finish. I'm not sure who that would be. But yeah, that was the race. We will get the full results up on the screen in just a moment time. But yeah, let me know, what did you think of this race? We will take a look at the lap 1 and lap 2 shenanigans in just a moment's time, when we will receive the, of course, provisional standings out, or standings, sorry, finishing order. Is it Azoyan who still needs to finish? I think it might be. As they're making their way into the pit lane. And there we go. So this Taylor from Falcinelli from Panebianco. Then this good PX Royal, Cabras, Warrior, Morrow, Paul and Paris. That's the top 10. Further down the field it is Martinelli, Turney, Carballo, Gonalons, Popov, Asen, Fitzpatrick, Azian, Dundies, O'Leary. With Jordanov, Black, Druid, Iliscu, Caesar, Fry, Vogel and Scanlon. Scanlon actually not taking part, I believe. Making up the remaining field. Now quickly let's get to replay, also save it before the lobby resets, because then the replay goes. It's something I hope that they will fix with ACE for something where you can share replays like you can do in Gran Turismo and stuff. So let's go back to the start of the race. I was surprised by turn 1, then it all kicked off. further down the field. So I believe Popov was involved in all that. So let's see it from the helicopter view. All clean through there, nothing to mention. Are we going 3 wide? Oh, please not. Oh, lovely threes in the way. Great camera work. And then Popov, ooh, just runs it wide. Hits the barrier hard. But that was not the main incident. Oh, there is the incident. Was that with Gonalons? Well, you already have Paul going way off into the distance there. Is it Iliscu? Oh, Iliscu spun it round. And then there's a blockade on the circuit. As they try to get it going again. So that was what happened with Iliscu. Let's change the camera angle real quick. Just getting onto the grass, spinning out. Not actually holding the brakes. Oh, that's a nasty incident, which could have very easily been avoided had they held their brakes. Oi, oi, oi. That's a very big incident that, in all honesty, didn't really need to happen. As we will now head over to the Lamborghini of Morrow to see what happened on lap number 2. So just behind them is Gr3, who closed in a lot in that braking zone for turn number 1. Then into turn 2, oh, and just a slight step. And ooh, also for Morrow not holding the brakes, thinking that they could recover. And in doing so, lining themselves up perfectly for the unsuspecting Paris. Both of them take a pretty big hit. Oh, actually Paris's engine shut off. That's why they took a bit to get going again. Yeah, but again, not holding the brakes. Very difficult one to manage. And Paris letting everyone past. No real need to, I would say. But oh, and there we have, who is that? Freivogel, yes, Freivogel. Oh, what the hell happened there? Oh, we need to take a look at that for a second time, because what the hell happened there? So second lap, oh, not results. Toggle the HUD. Get the point of view from Freivogel. So this is lap number 1. We actually want to take a look at lap number 2. So how do they avoid this then? Just barely, alright. Oh, that's a big hit. Oh, and an even bigger hit. That's where the damage from Cabras came from. When we were so focused on that incident between Morrow and, well, Gertz and Paris, this all happened. Wow. Just stopped in the middle of the road all of a sudden. Let's see. Wow, that's a big hit. Then of course with Freivogel being speared off into the barrier. Nothing that they could have done. Trying to make it back onto the circuit, but you need to be really careful with the braking as well. Oh, and not slowing down enough. Gets them into the barrier, then needing to wait for everyone else. Then a lengthy repair. And then on their second flying lap, I think they... Oh, they skate over the curb. Cannot stop it in time. And hit the barrier again. And that was enough for them. Anyway, that will be it from me tonight. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next week for the sixth round of the season around one of America's most famous circuits, Watkins Glen. Until then, have a good one. Bye bye.